Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David, and this is a Magic Review. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that when I see a Henry Harris product come in the mail, I get excited. Even more so when that product is about Rubik's Cubes, because I honestly believe that Henry Harris puts out the very best Rubik's Cube tricks there are. And people started coming back from Blackpool, and there were some videos of this crazy effect where magicians at Blackpool were given a cube, they were putting it under a cloth, and they were mixing it up and bringing it back out, and it was solved. And everybody was like, what is that, right? What is that? So it's Sam Huang's Paradox Cube, right? And being released by Henry Harris, and to be totally upfront, you're getting 2 cubes, right? 2 cubes, a 44-minute tutorial, and it's only 50 bucks. That's really good. That's really good. So price point wise, what you get wise, that's a good price, right? So seeing this come in the mail, stoked. I opened it and I immediately saw 2 solved cubes. And I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. So is it what I thought? No, it is not what I thought. I started to turn them and they turned normally. And I was like, this is also not what I thought it was going to be. I honestly, this is what I honestly thought, guys. I thought that there'd be some sort of elaborate elastic pulley system on the inside so that if a spectator turned it and then let go, the cube would turn back on its own. Like, that's what I thought. I thought that every time the spectator let go, the cube would just turn back, and that it was impossible to mix. And that the reason why you were putting it under the cloth is so that you couldn't see the cube continue to resolve itself. That is not, I mean, that's a pretty elaborate trick. That'd be pretty cool, but that is not what this does. Literally, if you turn the sides of these cubes, they stay turned. Like, you could mix up both cubes. If you wanted to, you could mix them up, and they would stay mixed up. So I was even more intrigued. So, you know, if you can't figure it out just by looking at it, then darn it, I'll have to watch the instructions, right? So it is well made, right? They're both real Rubik's Cubes. They look just like the RD cubes that we've seen from Henry Harris before in the past. So what do you get as far as the video goes? Well, let me make a quick announcement. There is a link for the tutorial, okay? And you click on that, and you're gonna go to a tutorial that you can download, but that download is not dubbed in English, okay? You have to scroll down, and there's another link. That link says English dubbed, and then you click that one. I made the mistake, and I downloaded the wrong one first, and then I had a download that wasn't in English. The second download has some English in parts, but the parts that aren't are dubbed in English. And so if you are an English speaker only, then you want to download the one that's in English. Okay, so that's my public service announcement. So how's the video? They're going to showcase all the magicians at Blackpool that were surprised, and then they're going to talk about what you get, and then they're going to show you how the gimmick works. And I really needed them to show me how the gimmick worked. It fooled me just looking at it. I was fooled. Then there's a studio performance with Henry Harris. They're going to go back to some more Blackpool performances, and then they'll teach you the cloth performance. So you have a spectator, they take the cube under their hands, under the cloth, they mix it up, they bring it back out, and it's still solved. Then they're going to teach you something called the double miracle. This is where it's not done with the cloth, it's done behind their back. So they're mixing the cube up behind their back, you're mixing a cube up in front of them. You then hand them your mixed cube. So now they have 2 cubes behind their back. You count to 3, they bring them both out, and they're both solved. This one is a good one. I like this one, maybe better than the cloth one. And then there's the surprise paradox. This is where they're going to mix it behind their back. And when they bring it back out, it is mixed. And it's going to match a photograph of a mixed cube on your phone. You'll then hand them the other cube, the solved cube. They'll mix that behind their back. And when they bring it back out, it will still be solved. At the end of the video, there are some cube sleights. They're going to talk to you about how to do some different stacks and how to do some different slices with the cube. And then they'll also tell you how to tighten the spectator's cube. Now, why will they tell you how to tighten the spectator's cube? Well, because there are two cubes here. There is a gimmicked cube, there's the paradox cube, and then there's the standard RD cube, okay? The paradox cube is the one you hand to the spectator, and they're gonna be turning it. Well, it's a speed cube, so it's very loose, which means if the spectator is not used to a speed cube, you could tell them to turn it once, and they might actually turn it 1.5 times and not understand, and they might try to self-correct, and so they might turn it an extra turn, or it just might turn too quickly in their hands. So if you tighten it, when you say, turn once, turn twice, turn 3 times, they'll really feel it move. And because it's tighter, they won't be able to mess up, okay? So here's what I'm gonna say right before I get into some of the other things, okay? This trick is not what I expected. The way I saw it in the Blackpool commercials and the videos, I guess was shown to me in a way that I thought the trick was going to go a certain way. But a full performance would be you hand them the solved cube and you drape the curtain over, and at the end it's still solved. I thought you were handing them a mixed cube and they were going to continue to mix it, and then when it came out it was solved. So the only way they ever see the cube is solved. They see it handed to them solved, they see it returned solved, okay? The other thing was, I thought they would have some sort of free involvement in how they turned and spun the cube. That is not true. You guide them. So they're given a solved cube, and then you tell them specifically how to turn it. And then it's still solved at the end. Now there is some freedom, okay? So, and anybody that knows how a cube works, honestly, would know that it should be mixed up, right? The things you're doing shouldn't keep the cube in state, all right? If you were going to really mess up keep a cube in its state, you have to turn things 4 times for it to come back around, right? And in this, you're never telling them to do that. You're always giving them directions that would be under 4. And you allow them to turn the cube. So you, as the magician, won't know which direction they're holding it, okay? So you can say, spin it at the very beginning so that I don't know, which end is up. And then you can say, turn this side, or you could say, turn this side or turn the top. You could say, now pick any side and turn that. You could say that. And then you could intermix it in the middle with spin, right? But make no mistake, you are still guiding them. In fact, when they do the trick where the cubes are behind their back, that one's even better. I said that was better because you can occasionally look behind their back and see what their cube looks like. And if they have messed up an instruction, you can guide them back, okay? But all that to say, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. The trick wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. You have a lot more control over what's taking place. So pocket space, it is 2 cubes, right? Not exactly something you'd carry in your pocket, right? 2 cubes is a lot. And I would probably do this only as a 2-cube trick because you want them to have the visual that when you turn like they are, the cube should be messed up like yours is. Their cube should look like yours. It should look messed up. How are the angles? There isn't any let's do both. Okay, so there's no angles per se because you're not doing any sleights. The spectator is doing everything. They have the gimmicked cube. So that would mean, is it inspectable? What Sam has done is he's allowed them to inspect the cube after the trick is over and after he's switched the cubes. So the cube that you had, he's going to solve it, really solve it, which means it was mixed up and you're going to really solve it. And then when they both are shown solved at the end, he's going to do a switch and hand them the non-gimmicked cube to inspect. Which means, yes, you probably need to have some experience with Rubik's Cubes to do this trick. The trick really only works the best when both cubes are shown at the end to be solved, when they mirror each other. And one of the moves he does is to solve the cube with one hand. So that's going to take practice. That's going to take skill. Now you could say, well, do I have to do it that way? No, you don't have to do it that way. But that's really the way it's going to be, have a better effect. So in truth, you're learning a stack, right? You're learning a stack. And if you do the stack correctly, you'll be able to undo the stack. So it's not a full knowledge of how to solve a cube, but it is some. Okay, it is some. Now, there are cheater apps out there now, if you need. So if you've got some Rubik's Cubes lying around your house and they're not solved, here's what I would suggest. Go download an app. Go download an app, and you can just plug in your colors, and the app will teach you how to solve it. And maybe do that at home and just play with it and see what it's like. But I would say you're going to need to learn the stack, and you're going to need to learn how to get into it and out of it. I think the trick works best with 2 cubes and you being able to mix and solve the cube with some practice, okay? So, positives, it's a fun trick, and when you watch the Blackpool trailer, you definitely do see magicians who are blown away. Blown away. Now, I also do think that magicians make very good spectators because they want the trick to work. They want the trick to work. They want to be fooled. They want to be surprised. They want to experience the trick the way a spectator would. And I think as far as creativity, this is a really cool new release from the Henry Harrius line. Negatives. It's not what I expected, right? And if the spectator didn't follow instructions well, or they purposely wanted to mess you up, they could. They could mix this cube up, and when you pull the curtain aside, it could still be shuffled. That possibility is always there. And with underneath the cloth like that, there's no way for you to know what they're doing. None. So if they misheard an instruction, which they shouldn't, they should be watching you. They should be watching you and following you. And if they do, I bet you 99% of the time, it'll come out perfect. But is the opportunity there for them to mess up? Yes. Could they mess you up on purpose? Of course. If they did that, would it ruin the trick? Yes. I'm just putting that out there, just being honest, just letting you know. $50 is a really good price, and it's great for the fact that you get those 2 cubes. Definitely it's going to take some practice on your part. Definitely would learn a little bit about cubes and cube solving to get good at this and to build it into your repertoire. But that's where you want to go to pick up your own. Thanks to Henry Harrius for allowing me to have this so I could do the review for you. I'll see you next time. Bye.